While she walked into that clinic at 18, Melissa heard these words from a processor of the fence. Your baby has 10 fingers and 10 toes, and you're gonna kill it. Melissa laid there on that cold table waiting for the doctor. She also heard, get up, get up. It's not too late. That same day, Melissa made a decision. She chose life. She chose adoption. 19 years later, the documentary I Lived on Parker Avenue was made. It shows the meeting of David and his birth mom, Melissa. That documentary got the attention of Kirk Cameron and the Kendrick brothers. They decided to make a full-length feature film called Lifemark. It was shown to over 1,500 theaters nationwide September of 2022. Now available on DVD and most streaming services. Melissa is now a public speaker, author, and actress.
You believe it, the real Melissa Coles from the documentary I Lived on Parker Avenue and the movie Lifemark. Just have a few questions and we're gonna get started. It's great to finally meet you in person, Melissa. I love this.
I know.
This is awesome. This is awesome. And her husband, Sean, and he's behind the scenes right now, but we just want to go over a couple things that I've thought about in the past. I'm like, I need to ask her these questions. And I think if I'm thinking of these questions, someone else might be too. Okay, the documentary I Lived on Parker Avenue. What was it like having a documentary made with cameras in your face and different things like that? Give us just, those of us that have never been in a documentary, give us a taste of what it was like for you.
Well, for me, it was very different compared to what I've ever experienced, because when I was first approached to do the documentary, I'm thinking Blair Witch Project and cheesy camera and, it moving around like this, but it was the complete opposite. It was done very well and very professionally. And it was done so well, in fact, that the director, Philip Braun, made me feel kind of like a Kardashian for a little while because he films everything.
Wow.
Now, when I say everything, I mean everything, except he missed one super cool thing that nobody knows about. So we had a scene one time when we were out at Haspen and we were out on our four-wheelers, which you see the four-wheeler scene in the documentary. But I did this one super cool thing. And he said, hey, kick the dust up. I was like, not a problem. So I get on the four-wheeler, I'm spinning that four-wheeler around, and I hit a rut. So I knew I was going to go down. So I knew to go limp. So I went ahead and let my body go limp. I landed on my back, and Philip freaked out for a moment, and he shuts the camera off immediately. The one time I do something super cool, because wait till you hear the rest of this. So I do something super cool, and he shuts the camera off. So I'm laying there on my back, and I'm like, okay, I can move everything. Nothing's broke, right? I just end up spraining my wrist and my shoulder a little bit. No big deal. And he's like, Sean, is she okay? Is she okay? And the next thing I know, he's like, oh, she does it all the time. She's okay. So Sean goes on the four-wheeler and starts going toward me. My four-wheeler starts barrel rolling toward me, and it weighs like 600 pounds. And right when the four-wheeler gets to my face, I took my left leg, and I just was able to hit the seat just enough to where that thing landed inches from just squashing me.
Ooh.
And the first thing I did, because it was so cool, like it could not have been done any better in a movie. It was so cool. And the first thing I did is I looked at Philip. I said, please tell me you got that on camera. He goes, no, I shut it off.
Oh, yes.
So nobody gets to see that super cool footage.
Wow. Was there, the documentary is only 30 minutes, but they could have made it longer. They cut out a lot.
It was 2 hours to begin with.
Wow.
And it chopped down. And Philip had said to me, he's like, the hardest part of my job is having to cut out some of your favorite scenes. So they wanted to make it short enough to where it kept people's attention span,
Right.
but yet you're still getting the feel. It's not my story, it's our story. So
Right.
you're getting the feeling, you're getting you're getting my feelings, you're getting David's feelings, you're getting his mom and dad's feelings. So you're getting 3 beautiful stories wrapped up in one short 30-minute documentary.
That's cool. Was there anything else that you're like, man, I wish they'd added this that you would share?
There's a lot of things that I wish that they would have
Yeah.
added. Same with Lifemark. There's
Right.
a couple of things that I wish that could have been added, but due to time constraints and trying to keep it at a certain level as far as ratings and stuff like that, they could add certain things in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there should be like an unedited, somewhat unedited version of
Well,
the Dumb Parker Ave.
One,
That'd be kind of cool.
to me, the most important thing that needed to be said didn't get said in either,
Mm.
which was when I was on the table.
What was that?
And I can't remember in the documentary, I've seen it 1,000 times. I can't remember if it was a documentary or Lifemark, but one of them didn't say that line, which was get up. Get up. It's not too late. Because I mean, to me, the 10 fingers and 10
Yeah.
toes was absolutely so important. But that other part, that was God too. I mean, that was God, that was audible, and that was God. And I just think that that is so important. And so
Right.
I always speak on that whenever I go to an event.
What did your family say when you all seen the documentary? You know, once it got done, it got edited and everything, and you were, you know, when you seen it and you and Sean seen it and your mom and others close to you, probably all of you seen it for the first time. What was the reactions? What did they think?
Boy, it was done so well and so powerful. We all cried. And of course, with my mom and dad divorced when I was a year and a half, so everybody watched it at different times.
Right.
So, but the emotion that I got was just, you know, I'm sorry that you went through this, and I'm sorry that you went through it alone.
Right. My next question is, I always wondered, why did you keep it a secret, and how were you able to keep it a secret? Some people just wouldn't been able to, or they'd be losing their mind. How did you keep it a secret, and why?
Well, I don't want to go into too many details as far as why I kept it a secret, because that wasn't my choice.
Right.
It was sort of an unspoken.
Just kind of felt like you needed to.
It wasn't my choice. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. And so the time came to when it was time to speak out about it finally. But sorry.
No, you're fine. When you're 9 months pregnant.
Well,
I know you've spoke on this, but how do you not show? I mean, I
Well,
know most. I mean,
and-
you can tell most, not always,
well,
but I guess.
the only thing that I can reference that to
Yeah.
is biblical, and that would be when Saul or when David was running from Saul in the Bible.
Mhm.
And he had asked God one time, not in these terms, because I'm not a preacher, but he had said to him, God, what's up with these spiders? They're not good for anything. And God said to him, one day you will thank me for this creature. Well, that day came when David was hiding in one of the caves, and Saul's soldiers were looking for him. They checked all the caves that he was in except one.
Right.
The one cave David was in, and they didn't check it because a spider had weaved a web across that. And the soldiers goes, oh, don't go in there. There's no way anybody's been in that. So David's life was spared because of that spider. So in my opinion, God put cobwebs on everybody else's eyes to get me through, but I needed to get through at that time for his purpose, for his glory.
Right. Wow. That really makes someone think, you know, that's because a lot of people think, you know, they see a woman 9 months pregnant, it's always obvious,
Right.
you know, but to not notice that's definitely God.
Yes.
You know, let me ask you, when you do public speaking now,
Yes.
and what was it that you're like, I need to talk about this publicly. I need to be did you think I'm going to do this? How did that come about? Being a public speaker, telling your story, even before the movie, just with the documentary. How did that start?
Well, that was all God as well. He gets all the glory to everything, because I had been not telling God that you don't tell God anything, but I had been asking God, there's got to be more to life than this. I feel like I'm clocking in, clocking out, doing the same thing over and over in my life, existing. And I said, I want to travel. I want to see places. I want to meet new people. I want to see new cultures. But more importantly, I want to do it for you and your glory. So please change my path. Give me something else. Change my life, Lord. And then the next thing I know, one request, second request, third request. I think I'm about 133 to 136 requests in now.
Wow.
That I've done.
Your first was you were on a television show.
Well, my first was at Maria Regina High School in New York City, and the very next day was Fox and Friends.
Fox and Friends.
Yes.
That had to be just blow your mind, right?
It did. The whole interview, my leg does this
Right.
the whole time. I spoke a little bit, but I didn't have to speak a lot.
Right.
So I was able to get through the interview. I'm able to do it now, but I mean, I had never done that in my life. I couldn't even stand in front of my high school class and read a chapter without an anxiety attack. So
Well, that would get anybody's nerves, I would think.
yes.
You know,
I
when
still
you're-
get nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Before every event, I'm still nervous. Everybody's like, well, you sure didn't tell me you were nervous. I said, I was. But then once I get up there on stage, it's like the Holy Spirit takes over and I'm just raring to go.
That's why. You know, at what point did this movie come about where you're like, you got a phone call, hey, we want to make a movie on your documentary? How did that happen? I mean, you didn't submit it to the Kendricks, obviously, because they get hundreds of thousands of things that they probably don't even look at. And I know a lot of people probably think, oh, my story needs to be told. Get me the Kendricks. I'm going to send it to the Kendricks or whatever. But it's just not that easy. You know, it's just doesn't happen like that. And, but how did it happen for you?
I wasn't looking for
Right.
that. That wasn't on my radar at all. I was happy just going and being a public speaker
Mhm.
and sharing the beauty of adoption and hoping that people will choose life and just help as many people as I can. And then I had received a phone call and I halfway kind of thought it was a joke, and I won't name names, but they said they wanted to do a movie about the documentary, and I just said, the story's not for sale. I'm sorry, click, hang up.
And most people would think that's a joke. I would have hung up too. I
So
think most people would have.
yeah, well then they called me back. This person called me back and he's like, now listen, he's like, I'm so-and-so and we're really interested in the rights to your story, and starts going into some more detail. And I said, sir, I said, I appreciate it. I said, but the story is not for sale. And he said, well, may I just ask you why? And I said, because I have paved my own way in life since I was a child. I said, I've had to work for everything from the ground up. And I said, I don't want anybody coming in and telling me what I can or cannot do. Because when I speak from my heart. And I don't want anybody telling me, you can't say this, you can't say that. I wanted to be able to be me, be authentic, be real. And so I said, so it's not for sale. So I ended up, click. I said, thank you very much, and hung up the phone again.
At that point, did you still think it was kind of a scam, or were you
No, I
necessarily?
was starting to realize that,
Maybe it's real.
yeah, it's somebody's wanting to do a movie, but I
Don't
just
want it
not
to turn
interested.
into some cheesy
No,
TV.
I
You don't want all the work you've done.
I've been used my whole
Yeah,
life. Everybody uses me, and then they're done with me, and it's been that way since
And
people
you didn't want it.
no,
Yeah.
people make money off me, and then they're
Yeah.
done. They use me for whatever they want, and then they're done with me, and I didn't want any part of that.
And that's understandable.
Yeah. And so I get another phone call, and I was asked to do a Zoom with the Kendrick brothers, and Kirk and the attorney, and Philip Braun was there, and me and Sean. And so we're all talking, and Alex Kendrick says, so can we just ask why you're so adamant about not wanting to get the story out? I said, it's not about not wanting to get it out. I said, it's about people coming in and telling me what I can or cannot do. And I said, and like I just said, I said the same thing to him. I don't want to, I've worked my whole life to be able to be where I am. And I just don't want any interference. He goes, we don't want to take that from you. He's like, we actually want to help you. We want to take that. And we want to help you expand your platform. And he was right. And they held to their word 100% on everything. And they have been nothing but a walking blessing.
That's awesome. That's, I can't imagine. And I would be the same way. I'd be skeptical. I'm like, yeah, sure. Because who doesn't get those phone calls and, oh, let's renew your car warranty, or let's do this, let's do that. And because you always hear, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Right.
But this time it wasn't.
Right.
Now there's a young Melissa, a mature Melissa in the Lifemark movie. How did you? I mean, who played who? I mean, just so in case somebody's wondering, there's more than just one Melissa in this movie.
There is. So you have the hashtag real Melissa, which is me. And I have a couple of cameos in it. I'm handing the baby over, and I get the baby back at one point, but it's to be symbolic, because that's what happened in real life. So you have Marissa Hampton, who played the younger version of me when I was a teenager, and she did a wonderful job. And she's such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. I love her so much. And her mom. And then we have Dawn Long, who played the more mature Melissa. And she just really nailed it. And we become sisters out of it. And I just love her with all my heart. I love both of them.
And if you haven't seen, I've done interviews with Marissa Hampton and Dawn Long. You can go to my YouTube and check them out. They are awesome people. But there's a story behind the story of Dawn, how she even got the part. Can you tell us again? I mean, you were. How did you all meet initially, and how did she get the part of playing you?
Well, I had originally been sent a photo of somebody that they were considering.
Okay.
And I Googled Dawn up, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is her. This is the person to play me. I wanted somebody that was outdoors, that did a lot of the things that I did to really bring, how do you say it?
Authenticity.
Thank you. It's a hard one for me to pronounce. But to really bring that character to life.
That's cool. I mean, you just Googled her and you're like, yep, this is it.
Yeah, I knew the very moment that we met that she was going to be the one to play me. So I sent her a message, and she got back with me, and she was like, oh, and this was like 2 months later. She got back with me. She goes, well, thank you for your kindness, but I'm sure it's already been filled, but I really appreciate it. And it wasn't long after that, we started communication, and we became friends, just friends, without knowing what was going to happen with Lifemark.
Right.
And I fought for her 100% all the way. And every time I talked to the Kendricks, don't forget about Dawn. Don't forget about Dawn. Every time they probably knew, I know, Melissa, don't forget about Dawn.
I bet they're who is this?
So I just knew. I knew in my spirit that she was supposed to be the one.
Yeah, Dawn, she's great. Check out her profile, Dawn Long Actress, on Facebook. She has some behind the scenes things, and she even showed a little video of how she found out. It's really cool.
I had to be mean, but that was
fun though. Yeah,
Alex made me do it.
Yes, that was so cool. Now, how did you get the acting bug? Was that because you're starting to do some acting now too? And did that start with this scene, or was it, or?
No, I wanted to be an actress clear back to high school. I mean, who doesn't? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But in high school, I was in drama class, and I did all that, and I was told that I was a stupid little country girl, and it doesn't happen to people like me. So I just kind of put it in this little black box, and forgot about it. And many, many, many years later, I'm on this set with Lifemark, and I got to be on set for a week in Georgia. And I got to participate and help in a couple of the scenes, and I got to see how things worked, and I got to watch everyone, and it just relit this fire in me. And I'm like, I want this so bad. What's wrong with dreaming big? There's nothing wrong with dreaming big.
Did you ever go into it before you got on the set, before you like, what if I don't like it? What if I've wanted this all this time, and then I'm like, it's a letdown? Did you ever think that? Could you ever analyze it like some people would?
No, not really, because I believe that God is the ultimate casting director.
Right.
And so there are times, and I have a couple of, I've got several friends in the movie business now, and a couple of us have went out for some of the same roles. And I'll give you an example. Like one of my friends, and I won't mention names. It's not Dawn, by the way. It's somebody else. But one of my other friends, we both auditioned for the same role. Neither of us got it, but she didn't know, and I didn't know that we both auditioned for the same. I had called her. I said, hey, I didn't get this one. I said, I thought maybe you might want to audition for this. And then she's like, well, I already did. And then she goes, are you sure you want to talk about this with me? And I was like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I? And she said that she had lost a friend, that they've been friends for years.
Mm.
And she said that she ended up getting a role that somebody else did it. And that friend, they're no longer friends. And I said, I am not like that. I said, if there is a role, and I'll give you an example, if there is a role and me and Dawn and Marissa and a few of my other friends all tried out, or not tried out, but auditioned for the same role, and I didn't get it, then it wasn't meant for me to get it.
And you'd be happy for them.
I
You're
would
the type of
be
person
very
who'd be
happy for them, and I would cheer them on 100%, because I want people to remember me no matter what happens. I want them to remember me. If something ever happens to me, that she was an encourager. She was positive. She brought this to the set. She brought her heart to the set. She encouraged us. Even when she wasn't the one that got the role, she was encouraging those people. That's how I want to be remembered.
That's awesome. What now you do how many public speakings have you done? You've done quite a few now.
Yeah, about 133 to 136.
What can, if someone's watching this right now, like, I may want to book her. What can they expect if they book you for a public speech at their church or at their pregnancy center or wherever? What can they expect?
Well, they need to go through the Ambassador Speakers Bureau.
Mhm.
Gloria Lydia is my speaking agent there, and she will connect with them, and they will work out all the details as far as scheduling, honorarium, stuff like that, travel. But what I bring, or what I hope to bring, is like when I speak at a pregnancy center, I'll give you, for instance, I spoke at one event. Their goal was to reach 120,000, if I'm not mistaken, and they were just shy of 200 grand.
Wow.
So when I go, when I ask them, what is your goal? What are your goals?
Right.
And I like to try to visit the centers before I go speak, so that I can physically see with my eyes and heart what they're doing. And then I ask them, what is your actual goal? And then whatever their goal is, I tack on more than that, because I want them to go above and beyond anything they could ever imagine.
Yeah, that's important. Now the next question, what can we expect from you next? And I've known you for a couple of years, and I've known the things you're doing, and I just love it. But even sometimes I'm like, what is it? What is it? Like, well, you'll see. But what can you tell us that I know you're in the middle of a few things. What can you tell us about what's next?
Well, my autobiography will be ready between June or July. Is the deadline. So and it probably won't be for the faint of heart, if I'm being totally upfront about that.
It's still an autobiography. That's really cool.
I mean, I've had a very, very rough life, and I'm telling my truth. I'm telling it as it was. I've already been told I need to tone a few things down. So I'm working on that. So I'm working on getting those things toned down. So it's going to be, I hope, very powerful and encouraging, because even though there's a lot of dark stuff in it, there's a lot of funny stuff in it as well. So I hope that whoever picks up my autobiography will read it and go, man, she's had a rough life, but she's the female Rocky. She keeps getting knocked down and she keeps getting back up, and she's not going to quit. And that's what I hope that they get. I hope that they know it's never too late. It's never too late to continue with the dream that you were told you weren't good enough to do. And it's never too late to start a new career. I hope they get so much out of it. I hope that they get redemption. I hope that they see through all of my trials and tribulations that even though I went through that, I gained so much because I got my relationship with the Lord and I got redemption. And I hope that that's what they get out of that.
Right. You want it to be an inspiration and encouragement.
Yes, even though it's going to be dark, a lot of it will be dark. But if you can just suffer through that part, I think it will be worth it.
Right.
And then I'm also getting very close to having our nonprofit open, which is called Life Stories Matter. And that's going to be very big. It's going to start slow, and I'm going to have to build from there. But there's a lot. I don't want to talk about that just yet, because
but it's something to look forward to.
It is going to be big. And I've got a lot of people that they're just blown away by the nonprofit and what the motive behind it is. So I'm praying that the Lord bless me with what I need to be able to get that funded all the way. I've already got pretty much what I need for the 501c3, but I'm going to have a web page and admin. I've already got my board set up and all that. So it's going to be pretty powerful.
That's cool. What about acting? Any more into that? Because you got a lot of plates
Yes,
spinning to keep
yes.
spinning,
So
right?
I shot Disciples in the Moonlight that will be
Yeah.
out this year, and then I shot a short called America's Prayer, and I just got cast in a feature movie called Wounded Pride. I can't give any details on anything
fine.
yet because I'm waiting for
Right.
official
Right.
okays on things.
Right.
So I got several other auditions in, and I think I've got a couple more projects coming up in acting, but it's not confirmed yet, so I don't want to say until it's confirmed.
That is so cool though. And I'll put links up to some of this stuff that we already know about on this video so people can check it out. I'll put your IMDb link on there. Your if they want to book you, I'll put that link on there. And you know, anything else you want to leave us with, hang in there, check us. You know, we'll keep updating and keep looking forward to all these cool things. And then, you know, I'll keep everyone updated too, even through my Facebook and YouTube of upcoming current things as well. Anything else you want
Well, I would like
to say?
I would like to plug this. If you haven't donated yet, please consider donating to Made with Love, because that is a passion project for many people. That is so close to my heart. Y'all know me as far as being pro-life and where my heart stands on that. And this project falls along those lines, the children with disabilities. And I cannot think of a better project that you could donate to. It's a legit project. It's a good project. And it is literally made with love.
Absolutely. And there will be updates from both of us on both of our Facebooks as time goes. It's coming up. There's going to be new and more stuff coming up on how you can donate and where you can find out more information on it as well. So, and if you haven't already, you've probably already seen our Facebook, different things about it. So definitely keep it in mind. It's madewithlovethemovie.com to get on their newsletter. All right. It's been awesome, and it's great to see you in person. This is my first in-person interview, and which isn't always possible, but I'm so glad you all can join us, and keep looking forward to all these cool things up and coming. Thanks, Melissa.
Yes,
So great to see you.